Datuk, welcome to Spotlight. Welcome to Sabah VFM. It's an honor.
That's my pleasure.
Okay. And we'll go right to your questions. You wrote a post on Facebook. Malaysia Day should be our official national day.
Yes.
Elaborate, please.
Well, I think it's quite logical, isn't it? When was our nation created? September 16th, right? In 1957, Malaya became independent. That's important. Malaya became independent as a colonial country. We became an independent nation, but it was Malaya. Sabah, Sarawak followed. But Malaysia, our nation, was formed in 1963 on September 16th. So surely if our nation was formed on September 16th, September 16th should be our national day. Sabah, Sarawak, Malaysia, then Singapore as well, but Singapore left. But Sabah, Sarawak and Malaya joined together as equal partners and formed the nation, our nation, that is Malaysia. And that should be celebrated by all. That should be our national day. We can celebrate each of our colonial independences as we should, right? I know that Sabah is 31st of August as well. Sarawak is, I believe, July or June? Earlier. Earlier date than Sabah. And they became sovereign nations. They were literally sovereign nations. And these three sovereign nations formed Malaysia. So yes, let's celebrate 1957 because we became independent of the British from Malaya, right? But then let's keep celebrating and make the main celebration the formation of our country. Our country is Malaysia. And I think we've taken Sabah and Sarawak for granted for too long. I've said this before, I'll say it again. We Malayans, we've done well, right? We've done well as a grouping in Peninsula. We made lots of money, businesses have done well, the economy's been very strong for a long time. But it's been with a lot of support from Sabah and Sarawak. We've taken a lot from all of you. We've benefited from all of you in Sabah and Sarawak. And we've not really given much back. And I'm not talking about politics, I'm talking about economic leaders. We've enjoyed the benefits and we've not really returned the favor. We've really not paid attention, and we've taken Borneo, Malaysia for granted. And I think it's time that changed, and for one very important reason. I believe there's an infection in Malaya, right? There's an infection. And Sabah and Sarawak represents both the antibiotic and the vaccine.
That's a good observation.
Yeah, so we need you guys to be strong now. We need the real Malaysia. Because when I come here, I see the real Malaysia. When I visit Sabah, when I walk out of the plane, when I walk into the airport, when I get into the car, everything is different. Everything feels like it felt when I was a young child in Kuala Lumpur. When we were all Malaysians. When there was no polarization. And you've maintained that. Sabah and Sarawak still holds the Malaysian soul strongly. And Malaya needs help to save its soul, to ensure we get rid of the infection. And you are the cure.
Moving on, you have allocated substantial funding under Shekar Economic Initiative. Your inspiration. What made you?
I'm a social capitalist. What is that? Means I'm a capitalist, a true capitalist. Now, a true capitalist believes in sustainable wealth creation. How do I make money? I make money by selling you a product, your colleague a service, another product, another service to different people. I keep making money by having more people buying my services or my products. But here's the thing, I want your money, I need you to have it before I can take it from you. Which means the only way I can grow is to push people out of poverty into the middle class, right? Up. The more people I push up, the bigger my market. And then I can, it's a selfish thing, right? I want your money. Kalau you tak ada wang, how can I take it from you? Okay, so I need you to have money. So I need more people to have money. Then I grow bigger. Then they can do the same. So that's true capitalism. Sustainable wealth creation. Now, for me, when I look at the situation around, I find that businessmen, economic leaders, they tend to say, social development is not our thing. We're not involved with that. That's government. That's why we pay taxes, right? We don't get involved. Our job is to make money and do our thing. We'll do a bit of CSR or whatever, but that's it. That's all we do. And I think those days are gone. The days of businessmen, businesswomen saying that we are no longer involved, we are not involved in all that, is gone. We have to be. We make money off our community. We survive and grow off our environment. If we don't play a role in ensuring the strength of our community and our environment, we lose. So we have to play a role. We have to get involved. Now let me answer that bit more of that. I believe businessmen are the smartest people in the room. I mean, honestly, it's not arrogance. It's just that, think about it, right? What do we do? What do we do every day? Different kinds of businessmen, entrepreneurs. We take companies. We build it up. We brand it. We do the PR around it, the communications around it. We sell products everywhere. When a company fails, we'll find ways of fixing it, of reviving it, of then repackaging it and finding another market. That's what we do. It's like taking a dying duck. Duck's dying. We have the best accountants that will build new bones, new arteries and veins, and pump new blood. Then we have the best lawyers that will say, okay, certified, this duck is no longer dying, it is healthy. Then we have the best PR people, branding people that will tell the world, not only is this formerly dying duck alive and thriving, it's laying golden eggs. That's what we do, right? Effectively, successfully mostly. Now imagine if you can take a small percentage of that ingenuity and used it to fix a societal problem. Just take a little bit of that capacity and say, please use it to find a solution for this issue in society. Be it education, be it healthcare, be it policies around whatever. Imagine what's possible. We need to use that, and businessmen must accept that is now part of the new reality. Because if we don't play a role in that, we lose our opportunities. We're not taking care of the very place, the very market that sustains us. Remember, if we are not creating sustainable wealth, the only thing left is to cannibalize the market. And if you cannibalize the market, everything collapses, everything implodes.
Was that what happened all these years?
No, I think if you look at Zimbabwe, you look at early days of Philippines, when it's just a small group, money, grow, and not spread the wealth. There's not socialism, this is capitalism. See what happens. Society then implodes, everything, then who loses? But if you can temper greed, see, if you can temper greed, then everything becomes possible. Tempering greed isn't giving up. It's about saying, what can you do with 1 million that you can't do with 900,000? What can you do with 10 million that you can't do with 8 or 9? What can you do with 1 billion that you can't do with 800 million? What? The answer is not mine. You can do everything you want. So now, maybe you take a little bit less, just a little bit less, and use it to make society a bit better. Use it to make your community, your employees a bit stronger. You know what I mean? Use it in a different way, because measure profit differently. Measure profit not just in cash, but in results, in what else has improved. Because that improvement then brings you more money as it goes forward. So, and if you look at it from greed is neither good nor bad. Greed just is. All right? You're greedy for love, you're greedy for food, you're greedy for position, power, money, whatever.
With that said, okay, Isn't the Malaysian situation for the last 50, 60 years a bit unique from other countries?
I think Malaysia has been the true definition of social capitalism without realizing it. Because we
took less greed.
not just I think you look at the country, we focused on not just being pro-business, right? We focused on making sure we had healthcare, education. We actually spread the wealth, but not at the cost of business, right? Because we realized without that wealth creation, without that economic drive, there's no money coming in. So it was that balance, and we did it just as a natural form because that's what Malaysians are. We're just incredible. We are, you know why I love this country so much? We are a shining example of how a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multilingual, multi-religious country doesn't just live together, but thrives together. We may have all these different problems and we've gone through these ups and downs and this racial polarization and there. But despite it all, I would challenge anyone and say, where else would you want to live? You think there's less racism in the UK, Australia, or America? You want to go live in Manila? Risk your life? You want to go live in Jakarta with the poverty and the traffic and everything else? You want to live in Singapore? You know, Disneyland under martial law? You want to, I mean, you know, where do you want to go? It's always nice, grass is always greener perhaps when you look at it from the other side, but there is really no country like Malaysia. We are the shining beacon of hope. Now, we can't screw this up. We've got to get this right, because I do believe Malaysia has a lot to offer the world.
In regards to that, due respect to your competitors, okay, so the Shekar Economic Initiative, is that along the lines of what you have been saying for the last 5 minutes or so?
Yes, it's my attempt. It's my look, I can talk about all this, then it comes down and say, talk is cheap. Put your money where your mouth is, right? And maybe, and you know what, I'm grateful to my boards, because this could only happen if all my boards had agreed. If all these boards, all the board members, all the trustees had said, okay to this idea. They bought in to this vision of saying, okay, fine, let's do it. And you know what? Shoot for the stars, because you may just end up with the moon, and the moon ain't so bad. So I might not get 100%, but even if I get 30% of what I was aiming for, that's 30% more than nothing. So for me, here's an attempt. I won't get it right. We all won't get it right all the time. We won't. It'll be a learning process. But I think this is where we must now say, stop waiting. Let's just now do. And if we can inspire other companies to participate and show this is how you can do it. You don't have to do as much as us. You can do more than us, but do something. Now imagine if we can get everyone to do something, even if small. And if everyone does it, imagine how everything changes.
So how does the Shekar Economic Initiative, how does Sabah fit into this?
This is my Malaysia. As I told you, the antibiotic and the vaccine to save the infection in Malaya. And you know what? We owe you one. Actually, we owe you 2 or 3 or 4. You know, and I think it's time we Malayans accepted that, realized that, and now this is not politics, it's not government. This is businessmen, businesswomen, business people.
Is that one of the reasons why you want to start it here?
Yes, I am. This is my very small way of saying, as a Malayan, I'm sorry that you know what? We've taken you for granted. I'm sorry. We've taken Sarawak for granted. And here's my very small way of saying, we're going to try to make up in some small way. We're going to try play some role in making this better. You know, as I said, I'm a small fry. I can do so much. I can do what I can. But I think we all do what we can. And if we all do what we can, we move mountains.
Moving on. You love theatre.
Yes, I do.
You've written quite a few plays.
Yes, I have.
So how do you see...
They're not necessarily very good. So
How do you see arts and culture contribute towards nation building?
They're absolutely critical. Art, culture, inspire. They're emotive. They're passionate. So I think, one of our problems in Malaysia is that we've really not pushed arts culture. We've not given it the importance and funding required to really play the role it should play. Because arts, whether in theatre, whether in film, whether in paintings, whether in poetry, whether in literature, can inspire greatness, can move people, can change people's hearts, can lift people. Now that's powerful, okay? But to get that kind of work, to find those nuggets, those jewels, you have to keep inspiring people to write, to paint, to create, and to showcase it. And we're not doing enough of that. We're not doing nearly enough of that. We're spending too much time with the politics of it. We're spending too much time with regulation of it. You can't regulate art, right? You just can't. It's like regulating someone to write. Then he's not a writer, okay? That's a stenographer, not a writer.
Crafting it.
Right? Yeah, it's right. So, we need to change the way we look at things. You know what? Malaysia's this library, this incredible library, made up of the most amazing books. Some books, some people hate. Some books, some people love. One person will look at a book and say, it's a piece of crap. While another person looks at the book, oh, that inspires me so much. And all these books written by different people are sitting on this library, this grand library called Malaysia. And the bookends that keep all these books on the shelf is the Malaysian identity. That's what keeps all this in this magnificent library called Malaysia, made up of the most incredible books that are emotive, that are stirring, that create all kinds of passions, but it's all there. And here's my biggest fear. If we take it for granted, if we take our national identity for granted, and the bookends fall away, the books start falling off. Everything starts falling apart.
You see pages becoming solo.
Yeah, it's just individual books. What's that? One book here, one book there. It's not this grand library now. It's not this magnificent library now. So, this this whole thing is about keeping this magnificent library of ours solid, there. Yes, not all books are for everyone. But we will find that one thing that inspires us. You will find the one thing that inspires you.
Speaking about inspiration, you have revived and rebranded the iconic A-class concerts.
I don't want to say I've rebranded or revived.
Let's speak about
I've been inspired by the A-class concert.
Petra Kasih concerts.
Okay, well, when I was about 19, I launched what was then Malaysia's first non-partisan multiracial youth organization called Malaysian Muda. Right? I was a young boy with a big dream, and it became the largest youth organization then, multi-youth at the time, and because that was to fight polarization. I warned then, and that was 32 years ago, I said, look, our society is getting polarized. If we don't watch out for it now, we're going to lose control. We must do something about it now. Fell on deaf ears mostly, but we got a lot of youth excited and involved in moving something, in just believing that we're Malaysians first, right? I always find people that think, oh no, but we're Muslims or Hindus. Religion's got nothing to do with it. Religion is ours. I mean, we're always going to be a Christian, we're always going to be a Hindu, we're going to be Muslim. What are you talking about first or last? That is what we are. But we're talking about our identity as a citizen.
When you share life with others.
When you share life with others, what are you, right? So, people like picking on things, but this is the bigger picture. And so I formed this, and then to launch it, I managed to convince this record producer to create a concert for me at a dinner, fundraising dinner. This 19-year-old kid trying to convince these people to do it, and I managed to convince him. And the singers were Zainal Abidin, Aflin Shauki, Sheila Majid, all that. They were there, right? And that was the first, and it was Aflin's first singing gig. He was this young man, same age as me, maybe a year younger, singing on stage for the first time as Alf. You know, there's the early days. Now, we've been friends for this 30 years, and of course, Aflin now is part of Petra. He's the head of Petra Studios Malaysia and the CEO of Petra Vision Works. He's one of the most talented young men I know, right? Smart and talented and passionate and very Malaysian, very, very Malaysian.
That's one personality that we all know.
Yeah, so now, but you see, getting Zainal's an old friend, and I thought, you know what, Ikhlas stood for something, right? It was a bringing everyone together, it was a feeling. So I said, you know what, the whole Petra Kasih program, which is the economic initiative and other things to just keep that library, grand library strong. Because to keep the grand library strong is not just the economic initiative, it's got to be social, it's got to be lots of things. So that's what Petra Kasih is about.
Any other projects?
Oh, we are looking at quite a few. We're looking at education programs. We're looking at helping multiple. For example, during COVID, we did a lot helping individuals and small communities that were helping the ones stuck. You know, we had situations where foreign laborers hadn't eaten for 2 days because they couldn't work anymore. Right? I mean, families not eating. You know, we had situations where orphanages, you know, where independent orphanages suddenly had ran out of food, and they have these kids, and it was lockdown. Who do you go to? How do you fund? You know, so we said, you know what? Too often people try to take credit. They want credit. Let's change that. We don't need credit. Go find these individuals and fund them, and let them go get the credit. Let them go do what they need to do. So we found, and it worked, we found community champions, and we started supporting community champions. So they go out there and do it. And we found that that's very, very effective. So one of the programs is to go out there and do more of that, to go find champions and let them do it. You know, give them the support to go do their thing. In Sabah, we have a program in Ranau. That's going to be the first of our economic initiatives. And that'll be the pilot project. And there we're going to help the farmers, fishermen, go beyond subsistence level. We will be getting involved to ensure that their product can be sold at fair market value. We're going to help them improve their farming skill set, the production skill set. We're going to improve their productivity, help them so that they can get a sustainable income, you know, constant, and they can count on. That's more than just subsistence. We're looking at the vanilla initiative that we're going to introduce to create a new poverty eradication crop. How does this work? Well, simple. You see, businessmen are friends. We have friends everywhere in the world, in different things, in different areas. So I can go to someone. I have a friend that's a vanilla king. He knows everything about vanilla, right? So I've asked him to help as a friend, as a businessman, asking another businessman, and he's happy to help. And this is one incredible thing, right? People are willing to help. If you ask them, hey, we want to help this, they're willing to get involved. And once they get involved, they get hooked. Because it's like a drug. When you get involved to help people, and you're directly involved and you see that result, you want more. You get a kick and you want more. And you keep doing it, right? So this is what we're trying to do.
There you go. And before we round out, before we say goodbye and before we say good luck to you, I have this feeling that you have already showed the world, if this goes out to the world, and that your version of social capitalism is, you know, purely Malaysian, yours only. So as a social capitalist, as the beacon of STI Group, Petra Group, Shekar Economic Initiatives, your final words, your parting words to the listeners. And
my parting words, listeners? Well, let's put it this way. I'm talking to Malaysians, yes?
Right.
Right.
You're talking to Malaysians and Asians mostly, yeah.
Okay.
Singaporean listeners,
Oh, well, you know what? Then I'll speak to Malaysians and Singaporeans. Well, I consider Singaporeans and Malaysians the same. We were all one country once.
We have Japanese listeners too.
Japanese, oh, wonderful. Well, then here's the thing. My idea for social capitalism is not unique. It's not exclusive. But it is a different and new perspective of how we can move forward. I believe everyone has a role to play. I believe if we all play a small role, we can change this world like nothing else. COVID has taught us one thing, that when it comes to crunch time, we all get affected. Rich, poor, black, white, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Taoist, agnostics, atheist, doesn't matter. It hits everything. And I don't think we will ever go back to the norm as it was before. There will be a new playing field. There will be a new dynamic of how we operate. But I'm hoping what we've all been through has shown us one thing, that if we don't work together, if we don't realize that we're all in this together, and if we don't put our hands out to lift people up, then we've learned nothing and we will all lose. But if we have learned our lesson and we put our hands out and we actually pull together, there is absolutely nothing this planet, this region, this country, there's nothing we can't achieve. And I believe that completely. So I'm hoping that Malaysians will stand up first and show the world how this is done. How together our spine is made of steel. And how together we lift ourselves out of these threats to our existence. And then perhaps with that spine of steel, we pull and lift and join forces with others from Japan, from Singapore, from Philippines, from Burma, from India, from anywhere, and keep moving forward. The world needs a new direction. There's no question about this, right? We need to try the road less traveled now more than ever. And I think we've been given a sign to do it.
Any particular advice on that?
The road less traveled? You know what? I think we're all individuals, and we all have a compass, a moral compass, and we all have distinctive and unique issues. My best advice to everyone: it's time to listen to the better angels of your nature.
Deep. That's it, deep. Yes.
That's it. I mean, honestly, think about it. That's what we have to do. We all have it, right? We all have these voices. And, sometimes one voice drowns out the other because of greed or because of ambition or because of whatever. You're right?
But that's new.
Right?
Listen to your better angels.
But I think now it's time to listen to the better angels of your nature. And I think if we do, then, my God, everything is possible.
Datuk, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Vinod, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on Sabah BFM.
Absolutely my pleasure.
We hope to get you back again. Thanks.